Yeah, jumping into the first topic, saw it on Twitter the other day. It is these new meta AI personalities. So Tom Brady, Kendall Jenner are the kind of the two big ones right now. Kendall Jenner is really the one that's been, I'd say popping off in the media per se. And her name's not Kendall Jenner, it's Billy. So if you go on their Instagram accounts, I believe Tom Brady's is Game On Brew, and Kendall Jenner's is Billy. I think I need to check the name really quick. It's mind-blowing what they're doing. Essentially, what I read about is they got all these personalities into the studio and said, "Hey, we're gonna render your face in AI. We're gonna take your personality and we'll pay you a few $1,000,000 for it." And now they have their name, image, and likeness on mainly Instagram. Billy's is called Your Sis Billy. It's fascinating. What's really interesting to me is that they're not using their real names, and there's a lot of confusion around that. And I think there are a lot of implications, far and wide for media and advertising. Your Sis Billy has around 60,000 followers. I don't think these have really been debuted yet in sort of a media landscape. But, they're catching some fire in the background. Meta hasn't come out and said anything officially yet, I think. I think it's public that they're working on them, but they haven't, done a huge announcement about it and what they're really going to be used for. So I'll throw it over to you. You have a background in this kind of area.
Well, just to quickly kind of recap too, before we move on to explaining the whole thing, like what exactly is this? Are they chatbots? Are they in the Instagram DMs, or like how do you interact with these things? Like how do you actually speak with them?
Yeah, so I tried to do the messaging. I think it's only for a specific amount of users. They're probably just beta testing it right now. But there's a video from Jewel Esther Pack on Twitter. She went out around and messaged Billy. It's super interesting. It responds like a real person. It responds super quickly. So, there's this Instagram creator or content creator called Karen Majori. She did this a while ago where she put her, chatbot online. She's a female model. I'll put it in those words. And she was making $70,000, I think, a month from people just texting with that bot. And she noted it as kind of an extension of her consciousness, which was an interesting way to frame it. So yeah, they're chatbots that, act like the real person. They have their personality. They have their, weird niches. Tom Brady's Game On Brew is a lot about sports, and Your Sis Billy is more about, your sis Billy, I think is a good way to put it.
So this whole thing to me is, so with Meta owning so many different platforms, right? Like they own WhatsApp, which is a messaging platform. They own, all the Instagram DM stuff, the Facebook Messenger apps. What it sounds like is they're utilizing AI to, and I don't even know what the purpose of this is, but like, are they trying to help people with personal issues? Like somebody who's lonely, they can reach out and talk to somebody who has a sports question can reach out and talk to Tom Brady or Brew or whatever his name is in the app. Are these more of like support type chatbots for people to interact with? Or I wonder where all this is going, right? Like you and I talked before all of this, and we talked about the world of advertising and how influencers can now promote products, and if that's all AI generated, you can do this at massive scale, and it doesn't sleep. You can just promote and put so much content out there. I just wonder where they're going to go with all this. And then on top of that, one of the other questions I think I have too is, like, if Kendall Jenner is on there, like, why not just be Kendall Jenner? Why would she not create her own chatbot with all of the content that she has out there in the world, right? All the videos that she has through all the different episodes that she's done with Keeping Up with Kardashians and probably tons of other stuff. Couldn't she take all of that data, upload it, and train her own LLM to create her own chatbot so that fans can interact with Kendall Jenner? Like, why would somebody want to go on and interact with this person who looks like Kendall Jenner, but it's not really her? It doesn't make any sense to me. It's a little bit weird. So I'm interested to see where Meta is going to go with all of this. Like, I don't know what their bigger play is, or maybe they're just using this as a test. What are your thoughts on that? Because I know you and I kind of talked about chatbots with guys like Austin and Ryan before this all started, but like, it's a chatbot. Why not do it on our own? Why not just interact with Tom Brady? Like, I would rather talk to Tom Brady than this guy named Brew or whatever his name is. Like, give me your mindset. Let me ask you questions as if I'm having issues with some of my sports stuff. Like, I want to get in the head of Tom Brady to find out what he's thinking.
Yeah. I think you hit the nail on the head with a lot of the media and a lot of attention that's getting from users is people are commenting on, the Kendall Jenner video, and they're like, what is this? Like, why is she Billy? Why isn't she just Kendall? There's a disconnect. Like, as a user, there is a disconnect. I know I'm not talking to Tom Brady. I'm talking to someone who may be, through, the incredible technology that we have, and it's going to keep getting better. I'm talking to someone who may 70% replicate Tom Brady, but it's not actually Tom Brady. It's not going to talk exactly like him. It's going to have, like we said, the, little niche sports info that he has. But yeah, I think that's one of the big things right now is users are like, why the hell, what's the point of this? Why are we doing this? I don't know why they won't just do it themselves. There may be something in terms of, regulations where they can't just spin up chatbots and people that aren't themselves and post it. Like, imagine if Tom Brady posted the video of the AI video of himself on his feed. People would be like, this is interesting and weird, like, and didn't say anything about that was his AI, and didn't say anything about, hey, when you message me, that's an AI messaging you back. People would probably figure that out pretty quickly. And then, AI is great. The technology has come so far, but there's no way that I think if Tom Brady published this under his own name without telling people there was an AI behind it, I think people would figure it out. And I think there would be backlash there, being like, I'm not talking to Tom Brady. So this was probably more of a strategic move. And, we're trying to put ourselves in the place of the greatest social company to ever be built. And they probably had a long reasoning for why they're doing it this way. And they probably have a strategic reason down the line for doing it this way. In a year, do they imagine ad deals coming through Meta? And instead of, hey, you can advertise, I don't know if you've ever done a Facebook, ad, but I did back in the day a little bit. I want to advertise to this radius, get this many reaches, all this type of stuff. Or now instead, people can be like, hey, I just want to advertise through quote unquote Kendall Jenner. That's like who the audience I want to touch is. I want to advertise through them. So maybe instead of, just placing the sponsored post, they're just saying, hey, I want to advertise with this AI celebrity. And it's going to be cheaper than Kendall Jenner actually is. I think Kim Kardashian, like one post for her is like $1 million in advertising costs. So Kendall Jenner probably has to be close to that as well. So it's maybe going to be a lot cheaper, but at the same time, as a user, I'm going to be like, well, I know this isn't actually Kendall Jenner. He probably signed off on it because it is their name, image, and likeness that they're using, but it's not the real thing. So how do users get around that? Like, is it going to be, I know where I'm 23, I grew up with Vine, I grew up in, Instagram 1.0, Snapchat 1.0. I've lived through this and I've felt the real connection to creators. It's going to be interesting to see when AI creators take off. And, is it something that the younger generation doesn't care about? That's kind of where my mind's at.
I wonder, it's going to be so interesting to see where they take this. I don't know what the play is here. Although I will say I did hear, I think it was about a week ago, and today's October 12th when we're recording this. So about a week ago, I saw an interview that the founder of Instagram did with somebody. And I don't know if you ran across this, but he was talking about how Instagram stories and the DM is where majority of the interaction is on Instagram. Hardly anybody is in the Instagram feed anymore. It's all Instagram stories and DMs, surprisingly. And I don't know if it's like the younger generation that's like messaging people back and forth, but I also feel like Instagram is almost going towards like more of an older demographic now, right? Everybody's kind of moved on to TikTok and some of these other platforms. But it was interesting to hear that Instagram DMs was majority of the traffic. And I wonder if this is Meta, because I think Meta is known for something hits and they just throw shit at the wall and see what sticks, right? They're so big that they can just
Mm-hmm.
throw a bunch of money at something, create something, and if it doesn't work, they just cut it, right? They're so massive. So I wonder if this was just a quick effort to tap into the AI movement and think about their model as like, hey, the DMs is super popular, chatbots are kind of getting popular, AI is super popular, Kendall Jenner and Tom Brady are super popular. Let's figure out a way to mash all these things together and just get some data, right? Like I would assume that this isn't the final product that we're going to see. Obviously, this is just a very, 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 very quick beta that they threw out there. But is this going to be something that pivots into, you know, all creators can now do this and they can create their own? Like you and I, like full disclosure here, I've been training an LLM on my writings for a while. Like you and I've talked about this, and for those listening, you know, I write every single morning. And I do this exercise called morning pages, where I write 3 pages every single morning. And I've been taking those for the last, I think it's been about 6-7 months now. All of my writings, I've been feeding it to an AI, and it's been learning the way that I talk, the way I think based on my writings. And I could easily then create a chatbot based on all of my data, and I can talk to the chatbot as if it's myself. And it's going to know how I think. It's going to know my thought process, my philosophy, everything that I've written. It scans all that, takes it, digests it, and then will spit back answers. That's what this is. Like, I think chatbots are going to be huge in the future. So it doesn't surprise me that Meta did this. I'm just fascinated and wondering where they're going to go with this. Like, we all know advertisers ruin everything. Is this an advertising play? Because that's how Meta makes their money. Like, is this going to be a play, like you said, where instead of paying Kendall Jenner $1 million for one Instagram post that nobody's going to see because nobody's looking at the feed anymore, are you going to now be able to interact and subscribe maybe to a Tom Brady or a Kendall Jenner or whatever their fake alias is, to be able to have one-on-one access with them? And are people going to actually pay that to interact with somebody that they know is an AI and it's not really them? Like, we're getting ready to tread into this weird territory of AI, and it's coming fast, really, really fast.
It is. And something you just mentioned is super interesting. Patreon released a whole revamp of their business today, where they're like, we started when you could follow a creator and it would show up on your feed. You know, I could follow Cody on Instagram or YouTube and I could see his stuff. The follow button is becoming less and less important, with TikTok coming up with this addictive algorithm of curation and recommendation. That's what's dominating the social feeds anymore. No one's following anyone anymore. They like their content because it's curated and recommended to them. So creators are having less and less traction when they post content. They're posting for as Patreon said it, they're posting for the algorithm. They're not posting for their art. They're not posting because of why they love to post. They're posting to get the most views, the most clicks. If TikTok likes live one week and, you know, photos the next, like, you have to, I know TikTok doesn't make photos, but, you know, creators have to go toward whatever the algorithm is favoring that week. So yeah, same question. What is the end goal? We really don't know here. You know, you see the statistics all the time that loneliness is going up. I think that, you know, contributes to the Karen majority, who, you know, is making $70,000 a month from her chatbot. I don't know where it goes, and I personally don't see how my generation is going to be attracted to these types of chatbots. You know, I can't speak for the younger generation at all, but you know, you mentioned Instagram maybe going a little older. Facebook is, you know, used to be used in my generation a lot, and most of my friends don't touch Facebook. I haven't touched Facebook in a while, maybe Marketplace to go buy stuff, but otherwise we're mainly on Instagram. We're posting stories, we're in DMs. A lot of people don't post a ton, except for, you know, the creators. It's kind of it's the Wikipedia rule, or I think it's like 90% of people, you know, consume, and like 10% are, I don't know what it is, but it's like the 90-10 rule. I think like 10% create the content, 90% just lurk and read it. Sure. Yeah, I don't know what the business is, because at the end of the day, it's all about making money. So what is the end goal? We have no idea. I mean, they paid these people millions of dollars for the name, image, and likeness. So, you know, I know they're a multi-billion, I mean, even trillion at this point dollar company. So, they don't really care about that money, but eventually they do want to make it back.
So what if, here's my final thought before we move on to the next subject here. My final thought here on the Meta AI. One of the things that I'm a big believer in, so I love reading books. I try to read a book a week. I've got some stuff on my shelf, and I always explained it to people as, if you want, if you're taking a marketing job or taking any kind of subject matter, if you want to, like, let's say I was going into the marketing world and you got guys like Gary Vaynerchuk, you got guys like Seth Godin, who are like the poster child or, the gurus for marketing. What if I told you that you could have them at your fingertips at any time? And I've always explained it as like, you can. You just read their books. They're telling you exactly how they did it, their philosophy behind it. Like, you have all of that expertise out there. You just have to look for it. And in the past, it's always been in the form of books, right? You can read a book, that Arnold Schwarzenegger put out to learn how to be the best weightlifter. You can Seth Godin about marketing philosophy, Gary Vee on how to execute social media strategy. Like, there's so much expertise out there if you're looking for it. That then moved into YouTube, right? Everybody used to make fun of YouTube as like, we used to make fun in the baseball world. We called everybody YouTube coaches because they'd watch a few YouTube videos and they thought they were a great baseball coach. Well, that sort of became true, right? There's so much knowledge in YouTube and watching videos. You can get a great education just by searching for videos that you're interested in. Maybe this is the next wave. Maybe if I want to know, like, prime example, I almost guarantee you Gary Vee is working on a chatbot where I could pay, say I paid $300, $400, $500 a month, and I had access to the Gary Vee chatbot. And anytime I had any kind of marketing question, I could ask the Gary Vee chatbot, and it'll break things down and he'll return expert advice on social media strategy, customized to whatever it is that I want. Like, maybe that's where this is going. Maybe these chatbots are going to be a way for the books that then went from, paper into video, now from video into chat, and super customizable. I don't have to go through and read or watch all of Gary Vee's stuff anymore. I could simply interact with a chatbot, ask it a specific question, and it's going to give me incredible results from an expert. That's fascinating to me. That's where I think this could possibly go.
I agree. I see that side. We saw with Lenny, the product guy. He built a chatbot. So people can ask him questions about product, and you can get real-time resources and quotes. But where does that apply for social figures like Tom Brady and Kendall Jenner? I mean, you can obviously go to all Kendall Jenner's interviews about how she created her company, and I can go ask her about the beauty industry through Instagram and this new chatbot. But it doesn't feel like that's the goal here. Meta's not grabbing business people like Mark Cuban. They're grabbing famous people. So does it, like, I get the business side of things where you're asking for advice, but where does it come from for the social side? Is it just, I'd rather, as a, 13-year-old, I'd rather go to Tom Brady and ask him for advice of how to deal with a bully versus, a therapist? Like, that's what I'm trying to bridge the gap between it, because I get the business chatbot side, but where does it come in the social?
Yeah, that's a good point. And I guess Meta's whole purpose is to keep you in the apps, right? And, being able to tap into the younger generation that wants to chat and have fun with some of these things. Maybe it's just a fun play. Maybe it's as simple as that. Maybe it's just a fun, interactive way to keep people in the apps that are owned by Meta so that they can continue to keep advertising to them. Maybe that's as simple as it is. I don't think so. I think Zuckerberg's got something up his sleeve. But it'll be interesting to see how this plays out.